Happiness is something every person longs for, yet few seem to fully understand. We often think happiness comes from wealth, success, or circumstances, but Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, believed differently. Born in poverty, raised in hardship, and carrying the weight of a divided nation on his shoulders, Lincoln knew suffering more than most. Yet, despite personal tragedy and political struggle, he spoke often about happiness and how to cultivate it. His wisdom shows us that happiness is not given by life's conditions, but created by our mindset, our choices, and our service to others. Today, let's walk through some of Abraham Lincoln's most powerful thoughts on happiness, words that can guide us toward a more peaceful and joyful life. 1. Most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. This is Lincoln's most famous statement on happiness. He reminds us that happiness isn't an external gift. It's an internal choice. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. A person can have riches yet live in misery, while another with very little may live in contentment. Happiness, then, is not what we have but how we think about what we have. 2. The best way to predict your future is to create it. A happy life isn't built by waiting for good luck. Lincoln teaches us that joy is found when we actively shape our path. Each choice we make today, whether to be kind, to work hard, to learn something new, creates the future we will live tomorrow. Happiness grows in responsibility, in action, in creating meaning. 3. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. This is one of Lincoln's most quoted lines. He's telling us, happiness isn't about how long we live, but how deeply we live. A single year filled with love, learning, and kindness holds more happiness than 10 wasted years of bitterness. Each moment, each day, is an opportunity to live with richness and purpose. 4. I laugh because I must not cry, that is all, that is all. Lincoln suffered greatly. He lost his mother young, buried 2 of his children, and carried the sorrow of civil war. Yet he often turned to humor and laughter. He teaches us that even in pain we can choose lightness. Laughter doesn't erase sorrow, but it keeps us from drowning in it. Happiness is not the absence of pain. It's the courage to keep laughing in spite of it. 5. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. Happiness is not found in speed or perfection. It is found in steady progress. Lincoln reminds us that moving forward, even slowly, brings peace. As long as we keep advancing, no matter how small the steps, we find fulfillment in growth. Happiness is not a race. It is persistence. 6. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any one thing. Lincoln connects happiness to inner determination. Success isn't just luck or opportunity. It's the decision to keep going. When we know we've given our best, we rest with satisfaction. Happiness is found not in always winning, but in always trying with resolve. 7. I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. Happiness, for Lincoln, is tied to growth. Each day is a chance to learn, to improve, to become better than we were. True joy comes not from standing still, but from becoming. Knowledge, self-awareness, and progress bring a happiness that lasts far longer than fleeting pleasures. 8. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. Lincoln shows that happiness is rooted in morality. When we do good to others, we feel joy within ourselves. Happiness flows from kindness, honesty, and service. We don't need complicated philosophies. The golden rule of doing good creates peace within. 9. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. Truthfulness is a path to happiness. Lies create anxiety, fear, and constant pressure to cover one's tracks. Lincoln reminds us that honesty is simpler, lighter, and freer. Happiness thrives in authenticity, in being who we truly are without deceit. 10. We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorn bushes have roses. This line beautifully shows Lincoln's view of perspective. Life is filled with difficulties, but also with blessings. If we focus only on pain, we lose joy. If we focus on beauty, we discover happiness even in hard times. Gratitude turns life's thorns into roses. 11. The best way to get a bad law repealed is to enforce it strictly. Though about politics, this also speaks to happiness. Lincoln is saying, don't waste your life fighting everything you dislike. Sometimes, reality teaches better than resistance. Happiness is preserved when we stop exhausting ourselves in endless opposition and instead let truth reveal itself. 12. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Avoiding duties may give short relief, but it steals tomorrow's peace. Lincoln shows that happiness requires responsibility. Facing problems directly, even when hard, allows us to rest easy. Running from responsibility creates anxiety. Fulfilling it creates joy. 13. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. Happiness doesn't come from power, Lincoln warns, it comes from character. Many think power will make them happy, but power without integrity destroys peace. True happiness lies in self-control, humility, and service, not domination. 14. You cannot help people permanently by doing for them what they could and should do for themselves. This teaches us that enabling others doesn't bring joy to them or us. Real happiness comes when people grow strong, independent, and capable. Helping others wisely, not by carrying them, creates deeper satisfaction. 15. Character is like a tree and reputation like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of it. The tree is the real thing. Lincoln shows us that happiness cannot be built on appearances. Chasing reputation makes us anxious. Living with integrity, however, gives peace of mind. Happiness is rooted in who we are, not what others think of us. 16. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. Failure is part of life, but Lincoln warns against complacency. Happiness grows not from avoiding failure, but from learning and trying again. When we refuse to be content with failure, we discover the joy of resilience. 17. Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm. Happiness is not just about choosing what makes us feel good in the moment. It's about standing firm in principles, even when it's difficult. Lincoln teaches that integrity creates lasting peace, while compromise of values brings regret. 18. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. Lincoln separates happiness from constant victory. Life won't always give us wins, but it always allows us to be honest, faithful, and kind. True happiness is being at peace with our choices, even if outcomes are uncertain. 19. My best friend is a person who will give me a book I have not read. Here Lincoln reveals a softer side: happiness in friendship, learning, and sharing. He reminds us that joy is found not only in great achievements but in small acts of kindness, like a gift of knowledge or companionship. 20. The better part of one's life consists of his friendships. For Lincoln, happiness was rooted in connection. Political rivalries and national struggles did not blind him to the importance of companionship. Love, friendship, and human bonds create happiness that lasts beyond fame or fortune. Closing reflection: Abraham Lincoln's life was not easy. He lived through war, personal loss, and relentless pressure.